Hi, folks. I'm Father Joe Grimaldi. You can call me Joe, and I'd like to welcome you to my podcast. But now, here's our host and friend, Ken Calvert.
Hi again, everybody. It's Ken Calvert alongside Father Joe Grimaldi. And welcome to the Father Joe Grimaldi podcast. My good friends, I have some more great news. Star Lincoln has introduced Shop Star Express, swift, safe, and simple. Doing what we can, where we can, that is the Star Lincoln way. Star Lincoln is 100% compliant with every CDC guideline, and we sanitize our facility on a non-stop basis. Simply call 248-354-4900 and make an appointment to meet with one of Star's sales professionals or shop Star Express by going to www.starlincoln.com. Check out the incredible lineup of Lincoln vehicles: the Navigator, the Corsair, the Nautilus, Aviator, MKZ, and the Continental. You can essentially lease or buy your next Lincoln totally online. Our Star Lincoln service is by appointment only and is open from 8 until 5. Our new Lincoln vehicle showroom is now open by appointment only from 9 until 5. Yes, your sanctuary awaits. Go to starlincoln.com. That's starlincoln.com. On our last podcast, we were talking about the vow of poverty. And as you were ending, you were talking about the difference between secular priests and religious life?
Correct.
Okay. And you said, well, that's another podcast. And I said, okay, well, then that's going to be our podcast. You are a secular priest.
Correct.
How are you different from someone in religious life?
Okay.
And maybe you can start by explaining just basically the differences between religious life and secular priest. What is the difference? Let's start with you, a secular priest.
Well, I just want to say something else, though, if you don't mind.
No.
I would like to start off by saying that very often, and I get this a lot, they raise money for the religious, and they always show a priest, they always show a brother and says, oh, we're raising money for your retirement. Well, no, you're not. Okay. Mm-hmm. I don't fall in that category. So there are priests who are religious. But most of the priests, I think, that you and I know every day would be what we call secular priests. And what that means is they do not belong to a religious order. They belong to a diocese or an archdiocese. And so when they become priests, they're part of that group that, well, we call them archdiocesan priests or diocesan priests, and they are not religious. Now, see, the thing is this, that it's so easy to mix up the two, because religious take the vow, poverty, chastity, and obedience. Well, secular priests do not take poverty, although it reminds me of a little quip that my brother-in-law used to always say, mm-hmm. Yeah, you religious, you take the vow of poverty, but we have to live it, okay? Well, as simply said is...
It's a pretty good line.
Yeah, it is. But you see, the secular priest has to live a life that tells the public, okay, that they are being abstemious, that they are being careful about what they have, and however... they do earn a salary. It's not a big salary. It's, an okay salary, but it's not a big salary by any means. Whereas the religious don't earn any money, although they're working like anybody else, but they do have whatever they need or want, and within good reason, to carry out their days. But they don't have to account for it at all because it's there. It's for the taking. Whereas a secular priest cannot do that. Secular priest spends the money that he has from his salary. So he does get a salary. It's not much to write home about, but it is a salary. So basically, when we speak about the vow of poverty, the religious take the vow of poverty. The priest, in a way, I'm being funny, okay? Yeah. In a way, they live the vow of poverty, okay? Because they don't have all the benefits that a religious has, okay, in so many different ways. The The religious life, the order has to take care of those people from the minute they become the religious to the moment they die. So they will never have to worry about anything.
Mm-hmm.
They just go on with their lives in the best way they can. Now, granted, they don't live luxurious lives by any means, but by the same token, whatever they need, they have. Whereas a diocesan priest, if he's involved in helping other people with some of his money, he might end up not having his proper needs. So there's no religious order that will take care of him. He has to come up with that money himself. So it's a rough way of explaining the differences.
Mm-hmm.
But it's interesting how most people have no idea. When they see priests, they say, priests, they have it made because, the order takes care of them. Well, we don't belong to any order. Religious life is what they're talking about. Now, granted, you're going to see a lot of Jesuits doing a lot of the work that secular priests do.
Exactly,
But they belong to an order, see? It's different from the Franciscans because they're a society, and I'm not going to get into the details there because they're very fine details that make them different. But by the same token, there's an order that's there for them. Whereas with the secular priest, he is a member of the archdiocese. And as they say, I feel like I'm repeating.
No.
I'm sorry. But he gets a regular salary, and he has to make do with that.
I think you're right about one thing. People assume a lot.
Yeah.
And as my father used to say, you know the old joke, when you assume, you make an ass out of you and out of me, okay?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people assume one of two things about priests. I think, you know what, I saw the Monsignor over at the country club the other day. Not a bad golfer, not a bad life. Hey, you know what I mean? On the other hand, people see very meek and hardworking pastors in urban areas, Every time you see them, they're wearing that same sweater. Every time I see you, basically, you have a couple of different outfits that I see throughout the season. You're thrifty, but you're basically on your own. I mean, if you need a pair of shoes, you'll go to Costco, correct?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, okay. I mean, it's not like you're living high on the hog here. But a lot of people make a lot of assumptions. They assume one of two things. You have nothing at all and rely totally on the church, or you've got it made in the shade.
Yeah.
Do you think that? Do you agree?
There are a lot of people that do believe that.
They do think that, yeah?
You'll see me. Now, for example, depending on where we live, I live in an area which is high-end.
Sure.
So just because you see a priest at the country club doesn't mean he's a member there. Also, through the years, many priests have been able to put aside a few dollars, and then they may own something that's, again, modest, a home, but it's certainly usually not extravagant. Unlike the religious, if I came from a wealthy family, which I don't, and what would happen is inheritances can be built up in me. So there are priests who are multimillionaires, okay?
Yeah.
But not because of their being priests. That's because of their family members who were able to give them the money. So there are priests who are wealthy, but not because they're priests. And I think people have to understand that. It's because of what they earned. A lot of people think that I am because I have a podcast. And I think you're the only other person that knows that's not the case.
I do the books, folks, and believe me.
But anyway, we do this out of love, basically.
Yeah, basically at the end there was a point where I started thinking about if you would like to, but I'm not going to even go there. Go ahead.
No, but what I'm getting at, though, is there are wealthy priests that's because of family, but not because they're priests.
Right.
Religious, on the other hand, they are never wealthy because the money that they receive has to be used for the good of the people, basically. So if they're given money, it's always turned into the religious order, who then uses it for different things. If you're working in a mission in Peru, for example,
Right.
well, they contribute monies like the Christian Brothers. They have missions in South America, and so they obviously use a lot of that money for that.
So let's just say, for example, the Kennedy family
Correct.
had a member of the family become a priest
Right.
and was rightfully, endowed with an inheritance that could have been a few $1,000,000. But he was a Franciscan. Therefore, he turns that bounty over to the order, and they disperse it the way they thank him and they thank the Kennedy family. I'm just using that as an example, okay?
Yeah.
But because I would have thought of all the families, that would have been the one that was probably most likely to possibly have a son or a daughter who would follow the
You bring up a very interesting point because
religious life.
yeah, I'm a canon lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
There's a technicality to that. There's a difference between ownership and use. So, for example, religious can own but cannot use. So, for example,
Wow.
a wealthy, I know, there's all these technicalities.
I love it, though.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, this is
So
great.
if a nun or a priest or a brother or whatever enters a religious life, one of the things he has to do immediately is to let go of whatever he owns. And he has to appoint someone who will administer the funds until he's dead. Now, if that person, any time in his life, needs money for some serious operation or whatever, and he doesn't want the order to pay for it, he can ask permission from his superior or her superior if they would allow them to use some of that money that was given for that purpose. Well, I know more or less what the answer would be, and that is, we'll take care of it, because the order has to take care of the people that need surgery and so on and so forth. So, to answer your question, they may still own the money until they die, but they do not have the use of it.
Wow.
So it's put aside. And the reason I mention that, I know it's a technicality which is not too easily understood, but this is what religious have to do. Now, if later on they're given money, they're gifted money, well then that money is presented to the superior and they will do what they have to do with it.
For the good of the order and not the individual.
The good of the people. It's not, you see, here's the thing. You're not making the order rich, but you're allowing them to do a lot more work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting way of looking at it. You have the money, but you don't own the money.
No, you own the money, but you can't use it.
You own the money, but you can't use it. That's kind of hard for the brain to
I understand.
cycle
I
through.
understand.
All right.
Whereas that's not true of a secular priest. Secular priest got $10, it goes in his bank account.
Okay, yeah.
There's no complication there. He owns it. He does what he wants with it.
Do you think that there are parishioners that would say, why don't we invite Father Joe Grimaldi to go to dinner with us next Friday night? And maybe the spouse says to the other, oh, he can't. He takes the vow of poverty. Do you think that happens on occasion? That people just assume because you are a priest, you are under the guidelines that, you're basically taking a vow of poverty. Therefore, you can't go to dinner.
Yeah, I'm going to refer to 50 years ago. We were not allowed to go to dinner, okay?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So as brothers, in those days, we were what they called semi-cloistered. Huh?
Yeah.
So that meant we couldn't really interact with the secular world too well, even though we were teachers. Oh, is it different today? I don't think that's a question for anybody, whether it's religious or secular priest, because constantly you'll see priests out with other people regularly. And so I don't think that somebody would even ask that question today.
Yeah.
Years ago they would have, but not now. Whether you're a religious or whether you're a secular priest, you'll always see, oh yeah, so-and-so is from the Capuchin soup kitchen. It's nice that he's having dinner with those people. Or, Father is from St. Barnabas Parish. So that happens regularly. As I said to you before, the country club, I have a lot of friends that belong there only because I live in an area where it's high-end.
It's an affluent area. It's that simple, yeah.
And so people going to have dinner, they usually go to their club.
Sure.
And so I could easily be seeing places like that. So that's used to be a question, but not anymore.
Not so much.
It's too common.
Okay. Yeah.
Much too common.
A final question for you about that then. You touched on it, but I want to follow up on it. If I were to invite a Capuchin priest to, let's leave the country club out of it, but let's take a really nice restaurant like an Andiamo or a Joe Muir's, a very nice Italian restaurant or a very nice seafood restaurant, would that Capuchin priest be allowed to join us?
Oh, sure.
Oh, you would? Okay.
Yeah. See, those days are gone. There used to be a time when people were forbidden to do that kind of thing. But today, it's gone.
Is there a religious order that no?
Well, I have a feeling that Mother Teresa probably would not allow it unless it would benefit the poor in the area or something like that. So
okay. All right.
The only time there's that confusion, I shouldn't say the only time, one of the main times when you have that confusion, every year there's a collection in the Catholic churches for the good of the religious. And they always advertise the sisters who are now retired, but they don't have enough money to take care of all the sick that they have. The priests that are the same way, but they're not speaking about secular priests. They're speaking about religious priests. And so very often people might come up to me after they take up that collection. Hey, by the way, Father, I just gave money for your retirement. I says, well, thank you. I says, where did you put it? What investment company did you put it into?
I'm at Chase Bank. Is that where?
Whatever.
Yeah.
But anyway, I got the biggest kick out of that because that is confusing to people.
Well, that's exactly what I was, because the last two podcasts have been extremely informative for me.
Oh, great.
I've learned a lot about it. It's probably settled now. I mean, it's probably at its best point, don't you think, in terms of do's and don'ts in a modern society in the 21st century. So Pope Francis could easily go out to a very nice Italian restaurant tonight and break bread with some nice people.
My God, when you look at his schedule, you wonder what he can do. I mean,
I simply put forth a hypothetical.
No, but I mean, if you look at the schedule, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, let's see if you and I can call him up and see if we can get him out for dinner.
That's right. See him if you can get him out.
Right. I enjoy our discussion so much. Would you be so kind, my friend, as to take us out with a little prayer?
Yeah, I found this other prayer, also anonymous.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Saint Anonymous again?
Yeah, I always say they're the most prolific writers.
They're wonderful, aren't they?
Here we go. God of hope and love, as our world seems more and more chaotic at this time of the pandemic, help us open our hearts and minds to your peace. Sometimes, Lord Jesus, when we are alone, bombarded by news and statistics, we may feel lonely, scared, apprehensive, and afraid that nothing will ever be the same again. In those moments, be with us so that we feel your love surrounding us, and help us to remember that you will never leave us. Give us the strength to reach out to other people, to share our feelings and fears, and to listen to theirs, so that together we may find calm in knowing that we are your people, and you gift us with all that we need, moment by moment, hour by hour, day by day. In all things, and no matter how we feel, give us the knowledge and wisdom to always give thanks to you, that the gift of gratitude may help us return to you and overcome the fear that threatens us. Bless us, God, who is Trinity, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. This is Father Joe Grimaldi, and I look forward to seeing you next time on the Father Joe Podcast.
We'd like to remind you to share the Father Joe podcast with your friends. You can reach Father Joe at frjoepodcast@gmail.com, and you can find us on Facebook or say, "Alexa, play the Father Joe podcast." We look forward to seeing you next time.